This family had no air conditioning, and they owned one fan. There were 3 kids, 4 bedrooms, parents, and 1 for each kid. And every night, the fan would rotate rooms. Monday, it was in one room, Tuesday, the next room, Thursday, the next room, and so on. After it rotated through all rooms, it would start over. And this was not negotiable. These are the rules, kids. Now imagine it's 100 degrees outside. You finally crawl into bed, and then you remember, oh crap, it's not my night for the fan. You would lay there, sweating, listening to the fan going in your siblings' room. Sure, they complained, but they all dealt with it because that's just the way things were. It's another story. The family couldn't afford another fan, so they all just dealt with it. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. This kid went over to his buddy's house one day after school, and his buddy lived way out in the country. Yeah, man, this is my house. Oh, I like it. Big property, bunch of cows. They walk inside. Come on, pal, I want you to meet my parents. Okay. So he follows him into the living room. His friend's mom is sitting on the couch. His dad's in a very big reclining chair. Then he looks over at the other couch. Hi, nice to meet you. What? There's a full-grown cow just laying there. Looks like it's watching TV as well. Who's that? Who's what? The cow. Oh, yeah, that's Betsy. Apparently, the family raised that cow from it was a little baby. It had wandered in the house one day, jumped on the couch, and just hung out with them. So they kept letting Betsy do that. And nobody in that family thought it was weird. It was normal to them. They acted like having a 1,000-pound cow in their living room was as normal as having a golden retriever. That night, him, his friend's parents, and Betsy watched TV together. And he said, Betsy was really nice. At this school, there was a kid called the Mayonnaise Bandit. Every couple of days, somebody would grab a railing on the stairs or their locker, and their hands would be covered in this slimy goo. It was mayonnaise. Mayonnaise! It was believed to be a one-time prank the first time it happened, but then it happened again and again and again. People were just avoiding the railings. The janitors would clean them every afternoon, but the mayo always came back, and they began checking the cameras. The person that did this was wearing all black. They couldn't see his face. He would do it at the strangest times. Usually very early in the morning. They never knew how he even got into school that early. Months later, they finally caught this kid. And it wasn't because of the cameras or any tips that students gave in. It was because a teacher noticed one of her students unzip his backpack to grab his notebook. And inside, they saw a giant jar of mayonnaise. He was caught mayonnaise-handed. And he was suspended. Gotta respect the bandit. This bully stole this kid's lunch every single day. The second this kid would sit down in the cafeteria, here he came. Hey, butt boy, give me your lunch. I hate my life. A couple months later, this kid finally got tired of this happening. So he started packing things he knew the bully would hate. Tuna sandwich, loaded with onions. Give me your lunch. Okay? The next day, leftover Brussels sprouts and a bag of deli ham. Day 3, hard-boiled eggs and sardines. The whole lunchroom smelled absolutely horrendous. After a week, out of habit, this bully goes up there to grab it. You sure you want it? No. He doesn't. And that was it. He never stole this kid's lunch ever again. That's genius. This kid started a newspaper at school, and it wasn't the school newspaper. Every Friday, he would show up with around 20 copies of this newspaper he would print at home. And here's the thing. Everything in this newspaper was 100% true. It was all just completely unnecessary. One headline said, Mr. Jenkins bought new shoes. All right. Another one was how the science teacher switched from black coffee to coffee with vanilla creamer. There was an entire article covering the fact that some kid's dad bought a brand new lawnmower, and one about another kid's grandpa who got a new hearing aid. Nobody needed to know any of this stuff, but people couldn't stop reading it. Hey, did you read Johnny's newspaper this week? Yeah, I read that Steven's cat no longer has fleas. The headlines were crazy. Stuff like, Mrs. Carter has worn the same watch every day for 8 years. Or, the principal parks in a different spot every time it rains. Or, every Wednesday the janitor whistles the same song. Teachers would buy and read these newspapers as well. Hey, how did you know I bought new shoes? The kid would be like, oh, I pay attention. Pretty soon everyone got paranoid because they're like, this kid knows everything. People started acting different because they didn't want to be a headline. But this kid didn't post rumors or gossip. It was just simple stuff. It was harmless. Nobody was getting roasted. It was just information. And you know what? You gotta respect the hustle. Every football practice, the kids would come outside and they would all dump their backpack into one giant pile right next to the building. Well, by the time practice was over, everyone getting their backpack was a mess. I think mine's in the bottom. Some kids had the same exact backpack, so sometime they would take it home on accident. It'd be a huge mess. Well, that's when this one kid who wasn't even on the team got an idea. One day before practice, he showed up with this little table and a basket full of bottle caps. Each bottle cap had a number painted on it, and there was 2 of each number. Here was the thing. When you handed him your backpack, he would clip one bottle cap to the zipper and give you the other bottle cap with the same number on it. So just like checking a code at a restaurant. Hey, Billy, what's up? Here's my pack. Thank you, sir. All right, you are number 3. Here's your cap. Hey, thanks, man. Have a great bag. Have a great practice, Chief. Practice ends, the players run over, they form a line, and each person gets their backpack in an organized fashion. The coaches even started using this. It's actually quite brilliant when you think about it. And you see, he didn't charge a single penny for this service. But what he was offering was so valuable, a lot of people tipped him. So did the coaches. So he made some extra cash. Plus, he wasn't doing anything after school anyway. If they didn't tip him in cash, they would give him snacks or a Gatorade. They called him Backpack Guy. Gotta respect the hustle. This kid got a summer job at a water park. Most employees spent their breaks sitting in the shade or eating a pretzel with cheese. And milk! Well, he spent his breaks in the wave pool. Because every single day, people would lose stuff in this wave pool. Sunglasses, necklaces, earrings, wedding rings. People would search for a few minutes and then they would always give up and they would leave. So every single break, he would throw on his goggles and he would get into this wave pool. And it's not easy to search the bottom of the wave pool, but this kid was a very talented swimmer and he could hold his breath for an incredibly long time. So he would spend his entire 30-minute break looking around the bottom of this pool. First day, he found a gold chain, then somebody's wedding ring, then somebody's waterproof wallet with $50 in it. Now, he had a decision to make. Should he take this stuff to the pawn shop to see what he can get for this gold necklaces and wedding rings? But he decided to bring it to the lost and found instead. And more people than not came back looking for their stuff, and they were always shocked that it was there, and they all had to thank this kid. It paid off eventually though, because one lady who had lost her incredibly valuable wedding ring came, and when she saw it, she was so relieved. She gave this kid $600. He was so grateful. He became a legend. He kept doing this every single day. It got to the point where his bosses let him take longer than usual breaks because now he wasn't searching just the wave pool. He was in the lazy river, the deep end of the dive pool, everywhere. And everything he found, he brought back to the office. Hey, you gotta respect the hustle. And that's a respectful one. This kid was hanging out with his friend, playing video games, eating pizza, watching a movie. Yo, this night is so fun. Then his friend's mom walks into the living room. She's carrying snacks. Right as she sets the bowl on the coffee table, she lets out an absolute monster fart. This kid immediately bites his lip because in his house, the entire family would be laughing because farts are funny. Nobody reacted. She let out a monster fart and nobody did anything. His friend was messing with the TV. Dad was just sitting there. Not to mention the smell. The smell was so weird. He starts laughing because he can't help it. And everyone looks at him like he's crazy. What? What's up? Something happened? Hey, what's so funny? This is supposed to be a drama. Oh, nothing. He asks his friend about it later. And his friend was just like, I don't know. I guess we just don't think farts are funny. But even if it's like a super big weird one like your mom did, I guess. To him, he said that was so strange. What do you think? There was a kid that carried a Polaroid camera every day at school. People just thought he liked taking pictures. He would stop, shoot a picture, and move on. He would stick the photo in his backpack. Nobody ever asked to see them because he never offered. Freshman year, he was taking pictures. Sophomore year, still taking pictures. Junior, senior year, taking pictures every day. But he always took pictures of very specific things, like somebody slipped and fell in the cafeteria, teachers mid-sneeze, mascot losing his head at a football game, somebody just got dumped and is crying in the bathroom. Every embarrassing moment. Then graduation rolls around. Everybody's signing their yearbooks, getting emotional. High school graduation. That's when this kid shows up with a giant 3-ring binder and he sets it down on the lunch table. Inside this binder are hundreds of Polaroid pictures. Every single embarrassing moment from freshman to senior year. Everyone wanted to look at it, but he said, nobody can look at it until this is auctioned off. And if nobody buys it, I'm burning it at the end of the year bonfire. And just like that, people were bidding. Half the graduation class was standing around him and this binder, and they were offering money. And it got pretty intense. The highest bidder gets the binder, and they can do whatever they want with these. It ends up selling for $300. Person that bought it just sat down, let everyone look over his shoulder while he flipped through it. And actually, those embarrassing moments made people very emotional. It was kinda wholesome. And that is weird, but beautiful. I want to be a bird when I grow up. She was in first grade, and she really wanted to be a bird when she grew up. She thought about it every single day. Well, one morning, during lunch at school, she noticed these red bumps on her arms and her neck. And she whispers to herself, "It's happening. It's happening." She thought her transformation to a bird was happening right then and there, and she was sitting down preparing for feathers to pop out of her skin. She then freaks out and grabs the nearest teacher. Mrs. Johnson? Sweetheart, what is wrong? I'm just a kid. I don't want to become a bird yet. What? The teacher had no idea what that meant. I have no idea what that means. The nurse gets called. Mom gets called. Turns out she was allergic to something she ate during lunch, and it was pretty bad. She had to be rushed to the hospital. That's crazy. There was a family who kept the same gallon of unopened chocolate milk for 6 years. When the dad bought it 6 years ago, nobody was allowed to drink it. He was convinced that unopened food and beverage would become a collectible and rare over time. He started referring to the milk as an investment. Every few months, he would take it out of the fridge, polish it down, and put it back in the exact same spot. The kids weren't even allowed to move it. One afternoon, the son was moving it around looking for a juice box in the fridge. Careful! That could pay for your college one day! Sure it will, Dad. Sure it will. He's insane. They all thought their dad was insane, but the dad kept researching old food online, on eBay, and kept showing the family. See, look, this unopened bag of chips sold for $2,000 last year. Yeah, Dad, that's chips. You're saving milk. Eventually, he bought a tiny refrigerator just to keep this gallon of milk in, and he put a lock on it. The family begged him to throw it away every single day, but he wouldn't. By the end of year 6, this gallon of milk was getting swollen. And one night, they heard a pop coming from the garage. He goes in there. The milk carton had exploded in that tiny fridge that he bought. The smell was so bad, they had to hire a crime scene cleanup company to come and clean it up. This kid said his dad wouldn't stop crying for days. That's pretty sus. It's the end of the semester. Grades are locked except for one final group project. Well, this kid named Brian is already failing the class. Even if he gets an A on this project, he's still done. Nothing matters. Well, his teammates on this group project, he overhears them talking. If I get a B on this project, I pass the class. Same, I can't fail this. The night before the presentation, Ryan's in his room and he's on his laptop. He goes to the Google Docs and the Google presentation and he deletes everything. The next morning in class, it's a nightmare. Okay, Kayla, Kyle, and Ryan's group. You're next. I don't know what happened. It's not here anymore? Wait, let me see. It's all blank? What happened? Oh, that's so weird. Well, did you have backups? No, you know how strict I was about this. You all get a 0. My mom's gonna kill me. The group mates and a teacher later found out what happened, and Ryan was suspended and he failed. And the other two were able to redo the project and pass. So there's that. Younger siblings, am I right? This guy had a younger brother, and his younger brother always won. Didn't matter what happened. If they fought, he would get blamed. If something broke, he would get blamed. Parents always hit him with, "You're older. You should know better." The younger brother figured this out fast, so he started using it to his advantage. He would start trouble, poking at him, annoying him, messing with his stuff. Second the older brother reacted, "Dude, get out of here, what's your problem?" He would just scream, "Mom!" And then the older brother gets in trouble over and over and over again. So eventually this kid decides, all right, that's enough. Because no matter what happens, he gets punished. So he's at least gonna get a little bit of revenge. He waited until nighttime and he went into the bathroom that he shares with his little brother. He takes the toothbrush and he puts soap all inside the bristles. He then lets it kind of dry and puts it back in the cabinet. Well, when his brother brushed his teeth that night, It tastes weird. It tastes weird. He's spitting toothpaste everywhere, but his parents are annoyed. They're like, dude, just brush your teeth. Quit being a baby. Your toothbrush is fine. It's normal toothpaste. No, I can't. It's disgusting. Stop being dramatic. And yes, it was simple, but the noise of his brother getting yelled at, even for something so stupid as that, made him happy. This makes me happy. And he slept well that night. They wanted a legendary senior prank. So they snuck to the football field at midnight with a gallon of chemicals, and their plan was to spell out the graduation year in big numbers across the field with these chemicals, so the grass would die and would spell out 2025. Guys, just wait till after the weekend. It's gonna look awesome. Best prank ever. When Monday came around, it worked. Their graduation year was spelled out, but apparently this field used specialized soil. The chemicals seeped into there and spread around. The damage was permanent. School brings in a contractor. I know you think it's just grass, but it's not just grass. It's a $10,000 repair. We have a game in 3 days. Well, fork it up. Now, the school actually wanted to be chill about this. They were just gonna give the kids community service and call it a day. But when the insurance company came, we aren't paying a dime for this unless you call the police and file a report for vandalism. That's just how it goes. So, in order to fix the field, the school had to make it official. They had to file a police report against these kids. They all got taken down to the station, and they got a court date. And yeah, that definitely ruined their graduation. Who knows what tabletopping is? When I was in school, tabletopping was this kind of dangerous thing where you would get on your hands and knees behind somebody and your friend would push them down over you. Okay, I'm not recommending it, but this one school got a brand new teacher fresh out of college. It was literally his first week there, but he looked like a 16-year-old. What's up? I'm Mr. Johnson. So one day during passing period, he's walking through the hallways carrying his bag. And on this particular day, this group of kids were going around tabletopping people. So they figured, hey, that's a student, let's tabletop him. Yo, next victim. Perfect. So these goofballs decide to go for it. One of them gets in front of him and says, hey, what's up, bro? Oh, hey. While the other gets behind him on all fours, and he pushes. He falls down, and he breaks his arm. And that's when the students can see his staff badge. Bro, that's a teacher. What? I could have sworn it was a freshman. Teacher is screaming, his arm is broken in half. Office gets called. These kids literally get suspended. They were almost expelled. But that poor teacher, he was actually bullied for that entire year. That's just not right. He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. I don't want to go. Well, that's too bad. Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. Hey, want to see something cool? And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg, and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. That's not cool. The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. Oh, no, wait. Look, it's actually cool. Look. The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. What's going on? His leg. The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. There was a kid in class that never talked, always sitting by himself staring ahead. One day, the kid next to him is trying to be friendly, and he noticed he's got a headphone in underneath his hat. Hey man, what you listening to? Maybe it was music, maybe it was a podcast, he doesn't know. Kid slowly pulls out one earbud and hands it over. Okay, that's weird, but the kid takes it, puts it in his own ear. Oh, you want me to listen? Okay. At first, he thinks it's broken. Then he hears it. 481, 482. What is this? It's just some guy's voice counting. Kid then pulls out his phone and shows him. The video on his phone said, British guy counting to 5,000. Oh, nice, man. Why do you listen to this stuff? And all the kid said to him was, none of your freaking business, bro. 496. That is so weird. This kid's dad owned a self-storage facility. Those places that have tons of those storage units that look like garages. Well, one summer, this kid asks his dad, Dad, can I please use one of the storage units as a hangout place for my friends? His dad said, okay, son, you can use one unit. So every Saturday, this kid would go, unlock the unit, and he would bring a bunch of stuff there. Him and his friends dragged in an old couch, a TV, a mini fridge, a folding table, a carpet. They had an extension cord. They were playing Xbox. At first, it was just 4 of them. This is awesome, right, guys? Then somebody else. Pretty soon, every afternoon, there was like 20 middle schoolers hanging out at this storage unit. It was like the world's smallest clubhouse, but it was awesome. There were rules. There was snacks and drinks in the fridge. Their very own secret headquarters. The funniest part, all these kids' parents thought they were just hanging out at somebody's house. This went on for the entire summer. Then one afternoon, one of these kids' moms has her pick him up at this place. She gets there and she's like, this isn't somebody's house. But then she sees a bunch of bikes out front, so she goes inside. She looks around. She starts hearing a noise. What is this? She knocks on the unit door where the noise is coming from. They open it, and she sees like 15 guys playing Xbox inside. What's going on here? Oh no! And instead of being a cool mom, she was super mad. Threatened to call the police. Threatened to expose this kid's dad. And after that, it was shut down. And all I know is, that mom sucks.
Hey, Mrs. Stevens, Johnny's my best friend.
Yay! No, the heck he's not. This school had one of the weirdest rules ever. Nobody's allowed to have a best friend. I mean, I guess it wasn't officially, but every single time, if 2 kids got too close, teacher would step in and separate them. At first, nobody notices the pattern, but if a teacher sees these 2 students sitting by each other every day, you, come here.
What'd I do?
You're not sitting by Johnny anymore. Their desks get moved. The kids are laughing together too much. I think you 2 need some space. And everyone's like, why does this keep happening? But it gets worse. I guess teachers start clocking who is friends with who, and during recess, they send them out separately. Okay, Billy, you go first, okay? You stay here. Not until Billy's done. You guys are not hanging out together. Teachers are trying to stop kids from getting too attached. This was their logic. If kids had a close friend, they wouldn't socialize with other people. So instead of letting friendships happen naturally, they treated it like a freaking problem. To me, it is messed up. Hector's driving to work one morning when he sees something on his dashboard. It's a jumping spider, and Hector does not do spiders. So immediately he's freaking out. The car's swerving. It's dangerous. He's trying to keep one eye on the road and one eye on this thing. Then the spider disappears somewhere in the windshield. He's gone. For now. The next morning, Hector gets in the car to go to work, and the spider's back. This time, Hector kind of sighs. He's like, all right, you just stay there, okay? And weirdly, after a while, he gets used to it. That spider's there every morning. Oh, hey, morning, buddy! Sometimes on the dash, sometimes on the radio knob. And eventually, Hector starts talking to it on his way to work. Man, it's good to see you today. I didn't sleep well last night, but I think with some coffee, I'll be good. If traffic was bad, look at this idiot. That's what I'm saying. If he's late, we're not gonna make it on time today, buddy. At one point, Hector doesn't see him for a few days. He gets worried, but then he pops back up. Okay, there you are. I missed you. Now it's a part of the routine. It's been about a week since he met the spider, and it's his buddy now. One day, he's driving his wife to work. She gets in the car, and she sees the spider. All right, let's go. Oh no, that's just... Ew. Don't worry, he's dead now. His wife just killed his best friend, and he's actually devastated. The ride to church is pretty quiet. His wife finally says, are you seriously mad at me right now? And he just cries. You rode with me every single day this past week. He was my best friend. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Man, that's sad. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. Hey, yo, check the drip. Nice shoes, Jackson. Thanks. Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, bro, you're still wearing those nasty-ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot. Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes. He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, what? Dude? So you're a freaking fraud then, huh, Jackson? No, I mean, yes. I mean, no. Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing freaking replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes. And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah. Legend. This kid was very quiet in school, so the bully thought he would be an easy target. On one Monday, the bully put a fake spider on this kid's notebook, expecting him to freak out. He's gonna freak out. But the kid sat down, saw it, and got excited instead. Oh, cool! A spider! Oh man, it's fake! On Wednesday, the bully put a bunch of paper shreddings in this kid's locker, expecting him to get mad that it was so inconvenient. This'll be so inconvenient for him. But no, he started playing in it with his friends. Oh, come on guys! Look at this! It's raining paper! On Thursday, the bully dumped a bucket of water on it. Oh, thank you so much, man. It's a hot one today. After that, the bully just stood there. He didn't know what to do anymore. He turned around, walked away, and he never messed with that kid again, because no matter what he did, the kid had the time of his life. On the first day of class, this teacher walked in and wrote his name on the board. Mr. Stevenson. He told everyone to open their textbooks, and that was his entire teaching method. That entire class, he made the students copy, word for word, everything that was in chapter 1. Well, students started asking questions. Why did the Roman Empire fall, Mr. Stevenson? He would just say, it should tell you in your textbook. Who won the War of 1812? It should tell you in your textbook.
Well, what year did World War II end?
That's not in the chapter, but the textbook should tell you. Shortly after that, the principal walked in.
Excuse me, who are you?
I'm Mr. Stevenson. Sir, you don't work here. I was coming in because the sub never showed up. Mr. Stevenson wasn't a teacher the school hired. Mr. Stevenson was just some random guy that showed up to that school that day, walked into that classroom, and pretended to teach the class. The police did come, and he did get a fine. That's insane! This is what happens when you get locked in the school bathroom. So he asks to go to the bathroom. He walks down the empty hallway, pushes the bathroom door open, and does his business. But when he's ready to leave... What the heck? The door won't budge. It's like somebody locked it from the outside. He's pushing, pulling, nothing. He checks his phone. Crap, there's no signal in here. Now at this point, he's already been gone 8 minutes. So I guess he does the only logical thing. He looks at the ceiling. Crap. He steps on the sink, he pushes open the ceiling tile, and he army crawls through the drop ceiling. Now he thinks he's going towards the hallway, he hopes so, and right when he thinks he's above the hallway, he lifts the tile open, but he falls right through. There you are. Right there was his teacher and the vice principal. What on earth are you doing? The bathroom door was locked, so you climbed through the ceiling? I mean, I couldn't just stay in there, right? Well, you could have knocked or yelled for help. Also, the bathroom's not locked. Here's what happened. When he got in the bathroom and did his business, he was about to leave. And he tried opening the door, but it wasn't the bathroom door, it was the supply closet door in the bathroom. They looked very similar. But he panicked, didn't look around to see if the actual door is right there, so he climbed through the ceiling. You know what? Just come to my office. You're getting detention. And he got a detention for property damage and making terrible decisions. This is messed up. So there was this kid named Owen, always polite, quiet, but he was always reminding the class of his peanut allergy. I have a peanut allergy. And the teacher backed him up every time. And guys, remember, no peanuts in class, please. Thank you. But one kid, Tyler, got sick of hearing it. I'm so sick of hearing this. And he swore Owen was faking this entire thing because he wanted attention. So on a random day, Tyler brought candy for everybody, and he made a big show of it. Don't worry guys, they're regular M&Ms. Totally safe, Owen, I promise. But they weren't. They were peanut M&Ms. He gave one to Owen, and he ate it. Wait a minute. Everybody was laughing, and Tyler was getting ready to prove that Owen was faking it this entire time, but that's not what happened. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. He's been faking this. Oh, Owen. He begins choking, wheezing, and then he falls out of his chair. The teacher called 911 and Owen was taken to the hospital. And Tyler got suspended for weeks. Yeah, that's messed up. This bully got a dose of karma. Right by the front entrance of this middle school, there was this carpet, and everybody had to walk across it as they were entering the school. But this one kid made it his personal game. Every morning when this one kid would enter, he would slide the carpet out of the way and pour his water bottle down. He's coming. Watch this. It was the same target every single day. This one curly-headed kid named Jerry. I'm Jerry. And this kid just took it. He accepted his fate. He always fell for it. He slipped and fell every single morning. But one morning, the plan backfired. A school security guard was walking through the doors right behind Jerry. And the bully does it. Jerry slips, but so does the security guard. Thud. He fell down right in front of everyone. Oh no, you! That was on purpose! No, no, no! You're coming with me. The bully then got suspended, and when he came back, he never did it again. And Jerry was finally free. Isn't that nice? Yo, something stinks. This one guy shared the story. It's the middle of the night. The dad's asleep in his room, and somehow his twin toddlers, both 2 years old, escape their room and go down to the kitchen. They drag a chair across the floor, and they climb on it. They open a drawer they definitely shouldn't be opening, and they pull out a cheese grater. Then they go to the fridge and pull out a block of cheese, Parmesan cheese. So now these two toddlers are sitting on the floor with a cheese grater and a block of Parmesan cheese. And all you can hear is just the sound of grating cheese. The shavings are falling on the floor. They're picking it up. Now this house had heating vents on the floor. Well, this toddler took all of this cheese, lifted up the heating vent, and they started feeding cheese down the vent. They then go back to their room. Well, morning hits, the dad wakes up. What is that smell? Now this is the middle of winter, so the heat was on. The entire house smells like hot feet. He starts checking everything. He opens the fridge, the oven, he's mopping the floors. The smell won't go away. But his toddlers are being suspicious. What did you two do?
Milk.
Now this family is one of those families that had cameras inside the house. So he decided he's gonna check the cameras, and he sees everything happen. What in God's name? So he gets to cleaning. He does as best as he can, but that smell never really went away. But more than the smell, this dad was concerned, because how did his 2-year-old twins get out of their room, go to the kitchen, get a cheese grater, grate Parmesan cheese, and put it into the heating vents? Those two are menaces. These two best friends were next door neighbors. They decided they didn't want to walk around the fence to see each other anymore. So they were gonna dig a secret underground tunnel connecting one yard to the other. They started by the shed. I'm digging. They spent 2 weeks while their parents were at work. They both thought they were geniuses. Bro, we're geniuses. Tell me about it. Shoveling, pickaxing, hauling dirt out in wheelbarrows. Well, they were about 6 feet deep and 10 feet across when one of the kids pickaxed something solid. What was that? I don't know. Keep going. They shouldn't have kept going. Instead, he hit this thing again and again and again until burst. Water spraying everywhere. Ah!
Bro, this is so bad.
It was the water main, the main pipe, and the backyard began to flood. They ran out of that hole. The water didn't stop either. It kept going. The fire department showed up, and then the city workers, and they're like, what the heck is going on here?
We were trying to build a tunnel to each other's houses.
Where are your parents?
They're at work.
For the rest of the summer, that kid's yard had to be dug up, and they had to repair that pipe. His parents were obviously upset, but they kind of blamed themselves.
How did we not know he was digging a tunnel in our backyard?
Yeah. That was my question too. That's insane. Careful where you dig. She got the question right. No, she didn't. This girl comes home from elementary school one day. She's genuinely upset over one quiz question that she got wrong. I wrote here that a tomato is a fruit. Sweetheart, a tomato is a fruit. You got that question right. And yeah, a tomato is scientifically a fruit. End of discussion. So the dad writes a note to the teacher. Hi, my daughter got this question wrong, but technically she is correct. A tomato is indeed a fruit. Thank you. The next day, his daughter comes home. Hey, Dad, she wrote you back. This is what the note said. She writes this. While a tomato is technically a fruit, because it is used like a vegetable, we are teaching students that it is a vegetable. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. The dad's just sitting there for a second, like, you're literally purposefully teaching students the wrong thing. A couple weeks later, that school has an open house. All the parents are invited, and that teacher is there. He walks up to her. Hi, I'm Mr. Johnson. Hi. So, what other completely false things are you teaching my daughter? She was stunned. Have a good night. Honestly, that makes no sense. Every neighborhood has that one house, yard where baseballs, frisbees, and dog toys go to die. The guy who lived there is creepy, angry, staring through the windows. Hey, go get the ball.
Let's just go inside.
Just like that, most kids accept the loss and they go buy a new one. But this one kid, he saw a gap in the market. What's up? He memorized the perimeter of this fenced yard. He knew the holes, the gaps, and he bought a very long pole. He has a 10-foot pole with a high grip claw at the end of it, and he started an extraction service. He pulls up with his bike and the pole like it's a jousting stick. All right, what is it? Baseball? Frisbee?
It's my dog's favorite beaver toy.
Okay, do you know where it is?
No.
That's fine, I'll use my drone. He had a drone with a camera so he could see above the yard to where the thing that needs to be extracted is, and then he would get to work. Okay, it's at this corner right here. I have the pole. Go through the gap. Is he watching?
No.
Got it. But he didn't do it for free. Depending on where in the yard it was, it could be $5, $10, or if the old man was right there watching, $20 because of the risk. But people usually paid. He didn't make bank, per se, but he made some good money, and he was a hero to a lot of neighborhood kids. One month he made $100 just by getting things that people were too scared to get themselves. I'd say it's a fair business, because there's no way the old man would ever give those things back, because he's just crazy like that. And so I say, gotta respect the hustle. These two sisters begged for a dog. Please, please, Dad. The dad would always say, you girls are not responsible enough. Well, years go by, and after years of pleading, the dad finally caves in a little bit. He compromised and brought home a pot-belly pig.
Oh my god, a piggy!
They named her Sonic because she would sprint around the house like lightning. And for a while, Sonic was family. She would nap underneath the dining room table, roll over for belly rubs. She would even let the family rest their feet on her like she was a footrest. Well, Sonic didn't stay small. Within months, she grew into a 4-foot pig that lived in the patio. Well, then came the house renovations that were supposed to be done. The dad said the workers were going to be there all the time, and there was nowhere for Sonic to stay. She's got to go somewhere. She can't stay here. Well, honey, we have to figure this out. We can't just, let her go. They begged. The mom looked around, and she found a country club that was willing to house her temporarily while the renovations were getting done. But the dad said no. Weeks later, the mom and the daughters flew to Sydney, Australia to visit some family. One night, the phone rang, and it was the dad. So nobody agreed to take Sonic. Okay, I'll make some more calls. Don't bother. I put her down. She's gone. It's for the best, okay? Have fun. What? The three of them just sat there in silence. They were stunned. Your dad killed Sonic. What? Oh. They were absolutely devastated. That dad is the absolute worst. And rest in peace. It's the first day of a new semester, and this teacher is having everybody in class give a personal story, one by one, and they had 10 minutes to think of one. Then each student comes up to give their 3-minute introduction speech. Normal stuff, but obviously people are panicking. But they came up with their stories, like summer jobs, broken bones, embarrassing vacations. Well, one girl instantly raises her hand. I'll go first. Okay, I like your enthusiasm. Get on up here. She's confident and she is smiling. She walks to the front of the classroom. She starts talking about how her parents owned a retiring home, how they worked hard and built their business from the ground up. She said how the retirement home had these huge aquariums in the lobby filled with fish. The whole room's nodding. Well, that's sweet. This is a nice story. But then she says, yeah, me and my brother got bored one day, so we smashed the aquarium glass. People looked up like, what? Grabbed a fork from the kitchen. The teacher's like, and stabbed each fish one by one. The class is horrified. She then smiles and says, so yeah, that's my story. Nobody clapped, the teacher had no idea what to say, and nobody talked to her for the rest of the year. Yeah, I wouldn't either. She sounds insane. Every year this school had a field day. No classes, just games outside. Tug-of-war, relay races, popsicles at the end. It was everyone's favorite day. Well, this one year, everything started off perfect. Field day starting off perfect. Sunshine, kids in their colors, music blasting. But by lunch, storm clouds roll in. And teachers tried to squeeze in the last of the events before it starts to pour. Okay, one more race and then inside. Then, boom. Thunder cracks. Rain starts pouring, the field turns to mud instantly. Well, the problem? The school locked every single side door because they wanted to funnel all the kids in and out of the main entrance. Well, the issue is the field that they were playing in was behind the school. So now hundreds of kids are slipping, sprinting, covered in mud. I lost my shoe. I can't even see. Where are my glasses? By the time they got back inside, everything was soaked. Mud everywhere. And the school day ended with students washing the mud off themselves in the bathroom and the janitors drying them down with leaf blowers. That's actually hilarious. This kid's always the first one on the bus every single day. And he'd walk in and he would go directly to the back right bus seat. And he would do this because about 15 minutes into the route, there was this bump in the road that the bus would hit every day. And if you were in that back seat, it would launch you up. And it was awesome. And the driver knows this, so he would hit that bump at full speed. It's coming, here it is. Well, he experienced it a bunch, and then he had a brilliant idea. Every day, people ask, hey man, can I try that seat today? Bro, let me try that seat today, please. And when people ask, he starts saying, well, what do you got? One kid pulled out a Twinkie. All right, deal, have a seat. The next day, someone else says, I'll give you $2 for the seat today. Anyone got something better? I got Sour Patch Kid watermelons. Deal. He's auctioning off that seat every single morning. People are offering Doritos, money, their lunch desserts, their entire lunch. Whoever wins gets the launch, and the whole bus always counts down right before it's gonna happen. All right, you ready, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. And that, my friends, is awesome. This stepmom is evil. This happened when this kid was around 11 years old. You see, his dad had remarried a few years earlier, and things at home were weird, but he was trying to make it work. One day his stepmom goes, come on, buddy, let's get some ice cream. And he's like, all right. To him, this feels nice. Maybe they're gonna bond. Maybe she's finally warming up to him. So they go get cones. They sit down inside the shop. He's eating his ice cream, thinking it's a normal day. She then sets her ice cream down, looks him in the face, and says, I think it's best if you go live with your mom full time. He's confused. But before he can answer, she says this. Nobody in our house loves you. The dude said he just sat there frozen. She keeps going. You take your dad's money. You smell. You ruin everything, and you make him choose you over me. She's saying this to an 11-year-old inside of an ice cream shop. Then when she's done laying into him, she stands up, walks out, gets in the car, and leaves him there at the ice cream shop crying. He said that moment changed him forever. No normal adult says that to a child. That woman is evil. They plotted this for weeks. For about 2 weeks, this small group of students would take the lunchroom food and shove it in their backpacks to save for later. You know, mashed potatoes, hot dogs, milk cartons, pizza, chicken tenders, you know. They would bring it home and put it in the fridge. They're stockpiling cafeteria food. Then, one night, they broke into the school. They snuck into the principal's office, and one by one, they swapped everything out on her desk. But they were swapping her stuff out with the cafeteria food that they had been saving. They took her stapler and replaced it with a scoop of mashed potatoes. Her landline phone they replaced with 5 hot dogs. They filled her coffee mug with shredded chicken, and they replaced all of her pens with straws. All the leftover food they put on her desk chair. The next morning, the principal stared at this all in disbelief. What in God's name happened in here? And it was as easy as checking the security cameras. Those kids were caught almost immediately, but still, that's actually kind of hilarious. You didn't want to forget your homework in this class, because if you didn't turn it in, you wouldn't get a bad grade or points taken off. She would drag your desk to the front of the room, and you had to face the class instead of the board.
Hi guys. Hi.
Now that is awkward, because the entire time someone would be sitting there, they would assume everybody they're looking at, and that is looking at them, is judging them horribly. Even if it's not the case. Awkward eye contact. Kids just pointing and laughing, whispering. They're talking about me? I don't know what's going on. Well, the students hated this. If they forgot to do their homework, they would frantically try to fill it in before class started because they didn't want to be in the hot seat, but it worked. That class had the highest homework completion rate in the entire school. So, you tell me, that teacher's a genius, right? So it's this kid's birthday party. And his mom lets her sister, his aunt, make the cake since she's a baker. Well, everyone gathers around and the aunt brings out the cake. Well, the lid comes off and it says, Happy birthday, Kyle and Jason? Kyle's the birthday kid. Jason isn't. Jason is his aunt's son, his cousin. The mom's like, "Are you serious? Why is your kid's name on my son's cake?" And the aunt shrugs. "It's fine. They can share. They can blow out the candles together." "Absolutely not. This is his birthday, not your son's." So what happened was Kyle's cousin Jason was incredibly spoiled, and he couldn't stand to be at another kid's birthday party. He had to make it about him as well. Well, the two sisters start arguing in front of the entire party, and everybody is incredibly uncomfortable. It looks like they're about to start throwing hands, when finally Kyle's mom says, "You know what? Take your cake and your spoiled kid and leave my frickin' house." The aunt storms out with the cake, and 10 minutes later, the dad comes in with a cake from Walmart, and the birthday party was saved. But the mom still hasn't talked to her sister since then. For real though, who would think that's okay? It's a Saturday afternoon. This mom's at the park with her two kids when her neighbor drives up. "Hi, can you watch my kids for just like 10 minutes? I have to run to the grocery store." "Yeah, sure, just 10 minutes, right?" "Yes, 10 minutes tops, and I'll come pick them up right back here." Well, 10 minutes turn into 2 hours. They're at the park still. Her kids and her neighbor's kids exhausted. Everybody wants to go home. No sign of the mom. No texts, nothing. She's not answering her calls. "Hold on, kids. I'm just trying to get a hold of your mom. She's not picking up. Come on." Well, now it's getting dark, and they can't just keep staying at the park. So she takes her kids and her neighbor's kids in her car, and she drives to the neighbor's house. She pulls up in the neighbor's driveway, and there's her neighbor's car, parked. What the heck? The lights are on inside the house. She grabs the kids, goes up to the front door and knocks. The neighbor opens the door, holding a bag of popcorn, and the TV was on. "Oh, thanks for bringing them back. Have a great day. Come on, kids." What the heck? No thank you, no apology, just shuts the door. And that's when the mom realized her neighbor never had to go to the store. She just wanted time off from her kids. That's messed up. One day, randomly, this kid told his teacher, "My grandma died." "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that." Well, that night, the teacher emails the mom. "I just wanted to say, I'm thinking of your family. Deborah was such a good woman. May she rest in peace." The mom reads it, and she freezes. Wait, what? Her mother-in-law wasn't dead. She was literally at bingo that night. A few minutes later, a different mom from school calls her. We're all gonna miss her so much. She was such an incredible woman." "No, I'm sorry, there must be some sort of confusion. She's not dead." By the end of the night, half of the neighborhood is sending their condolences. Everyone thinks Grandma's gone. This one family even dropped off a casserole. She then confronts her kid. Hi, did you tell everyone that Grandma died?" "Yes." "Why?" "I don't actually know." The mom then calls her mother-in-law to warn her about this entire situation. "Oh, hi, sweetie. B27. Crap. Hey, Deb, so apparently you died today?" "Oh, well, no one told me. That's good to know." G26. Bingo! It started as a joke. A single piece of gum stuck to the wall behind the gym bleachers. Hidden, tucked away. Well, one kid started adding to it. Then, as a joke, he told his friends.
"Yo guys, donate your gum. We're building something behind the bleachers."
And every day after lunch, more and more pieces were being added to this gum blob. By October, it was the size of a shoebox. By December, it was this giant glob of pink, gray, orange, and blue colors. And it was giving off this strange but fruity smell. Kids would swing by and salute this gum blob every day after gym. It was this fun thing that everyone was kind of involved in. One day, the janitor warned him.
"Hey, listen, I see this abomination behind the bleachers. You better clean this up."
"No."
After the threat from the janitor, he knew that time was running out, so him and his friends tried to add as much as they possibly could to it. And then, one day, he goes back there, and he sees 3 of the janitors scraping this gum blob away, and he was sad. But then, he got a great idea. He went into the garbage, where that gum was now sitting, and he cut off little pieces, and put them into Ziploc bags. He put 10 pieces of this gum blob into different bags, and he sold them. Limited edition relics. And the crazy part is, the people that were actually involved in this bought them. I guess they wanted a keepsake, a memory. He sold those chewed bag pieces for $4 each. Honestly, hey, you gotta respect the hustle. It's 11:30 p.m. Jacob gets home from his friend's house when he realizes he forgot his house key. Oh crap. Both parents are asleep. Front door locked, back door locked. He doesn't want to wake them, so he does what he thinks is smart. He walks around the side of the house and looks up. He sees his bedroom window, and he knows his window is unlocked. So he grabs the gutter, and he prays it doesn't break. And he starts climbing. Little does he know, the neighbor has been watching him this entire time, and she called the police because she thought someone was breaking into this house. Someone's breaking into my neighbor's house. Help! So as he's about halfway up, he hears, "Freeze! Get down! What?
No. I live here.
Likely story. The cop then throws something at him, and he falls down hard onto the ground. All this ruckus has then woken this kid's parents, and they come outside, half asleep. Whoa, what's going on? That's my dad, I live here. Sir, do you know this kid? And the dad, he says, never seen him before in my life. What? Police then take this kid cuffed and put him in the car. They're about to bring him to the station. Then the mom comes out. What? No, that is our son. Yeah, he's ours. I was trying to scare him. They uncuff him. This kid's covered in dirt. He's obviously shaken up. And the dad says, bet you won't forget your keys again, huh? You are insane. That's kind of awesome. It's senior year, middle of class, when all of a sudden people hear, look, a horse! People step out into the hallway and they see it. There's a horse just trotting down the hallway. The principal gets on the intercom and is like, everybody stay in your classrooms. Yeah, nobody listened. Kids are pouring out trying to see. They got their phones out. Yo, whose horse is that? The funny part is this one teacher, he encouraged it. He told one of the kids in his class, hey, Billy, come here. Yeah, what's up? Dude, I dare you to go ride that horse. Okay. So now you have this horse trotting down the hallway, a bunch of students standing to the side, filming it, and this one kid jogs up and hops on the horse. People are losing their minds, and at this moment, the horse is heading right for these big doors in the edge of the school, and students run up and they open the doors. That's when the kid who jumped on the horse is like, go! And he gallops right outside the school. Now, the school was right next to these farms, so that's obviously where the horse came from, but this kid just goes. He's now outside of school on this random horse that somehow got in, galloping around fields of corn. And honestly, that would be the best day of school ever. Here's what happens when you punish everybody for one kid's mistake. This teacher caught one student throwing a paper airplane in class, but she gave the entire class detention. Detention for all of you! Every single person, even the kids that were just sitting there quietly doing their work. Well, the entire class was super mad. So they realized if they're gonna get punished anyway, they might as well do something to actually deserve it. So the next day, 10 more kids are launching paper airplanes in this class, mid-lecture. And the teacher doubled down, banned everybody from the upcoming field trip that they've been waiting for months. That's it, field trip is canceled. Now, yeah, that did suck for them. So now at this point, the entire class had nothing to lose. So by week 3, it was basically a rebellion. Every student would take their turn disrupting class, coughing loudly, pushing books off the desk, paper airplanes, humming, spitballs. Teacher kept getting angrier and angrier. I'm gonna fail each and every one of you. The good kids who had perfect records just stopped caring because they're like, this thing started off so unfair. The breaking point came when the principal walked in during a surprise observation one day and found absolute chaos. 27 students standing on their desks chanting, we hate Mrs. Johnson, we hate Mrs. Johnson, over and over again while the teacher is, enough, sit down, I'm gonna call your parents, I'm gonna call your parents. Half the class was facing potential suspension at this point. The principal immediately removed the teacher from the classroom. They did some digging, parents demanded meetings with the school board, and at the end of all of this, that teacher was let go. Well, she retired. Because it turns out if you erase the difference between innocent and guilty, everybody just picks guilty, because at least that way you're having fun. That's nuts. Every single morning, this kid bought the same thing from the vending machine, sugar-free lemonade. Yum. The same vending machine, the same drink, every morning, it was his routine. Well, one morning, he drops his coins in. What the heck? Clink, clink, nothing. The machine is not recognizing this money at all. He tries to press the button to get his coins back, but nothing was happening. Okay, must be broken. So he goes to the office and tells them. They say that they have no control over the vending machines at all. So he wrote on a piece of paper, do not use out of order, and he tapes it to that vending machine. Okay, perfect. Now nobody else will waste their money here. Hero moment. The next morning, he goes to the vending machine and the paper is gone. So he assumes, how cool, they must have fixed it. What the heck? Still broken. His coins just gone. Nothing's registering, he cannot get his drink. So he's irritated now, he makes another piece of paper. Do not use out of order. He tapes it on there. This time he checks on it at lunch and the piece of paper is gone. But the machine is still broken. Somebody is taking his paper off but not fixing the machine. People are probably wasting their money here. He didn't want people to make the same mistake he was doing, but he was like, why are they taking this down? So he goes to the principal again, makes the principal call the vending machine company. They come out and they fix it. Yeah. But all the money he put in there was gone. They wouldn't give him a refund. But hey, at least he got the vending machine fixed. And he got to have his sugar-free lemonade again. This fourth grader could pull his tooth out. Like fully out. Nobody knew why. Then he would put it back in and it would fit perfectly, like a Lego piece. The first time he did it, people were like, yo, what was that? That was crazy, do it again. By the next day, everybody had heard about this kid's tooth thing, and they were lining up. Yo, do the tooth thing, please let me see it. And he did it every so often, but people kept asking him this for months, and it got old, so he started charging. Okay, I'll do it for a quarter. Fine, here. Well, now it's a business. But here's the rule. Only one person per quarter. If 4 kids want to see it at the same time, it's $1. And if you give him a quarter, he does it, but you missed it, that's that. You pay, you watch him do this tooth thing, you move on. By the end of the month, he's got bags and bags of quarters. People are actually paying this guy. Teachers try to shut it down eventually, but by that point, the tooth wouldn't fit in anymore. He made his money, and nobody ever knew how he was doing that with his tooth. Hey, you gotta respect the hustle. A crazy private school rule. So this private school in a small town had this rule. Nobody's allowed to have curly hair on school grounds. Which, like, what do you mean? But this is serious. One day, this new kid shows up at this school. It's his first day. And you guessed it, he has curly hair. Hey, I'm Corey. Oh, Corey. Come with me. The principal takes Corey to her office. She pulls out a hair straightener from her desk, and she begins straightening Corey's hair. When I'm done with you, this hair will be straight. 10 minutes later, Corey leaves the office with a completely different hairstyle. He was incredibly confused and sad. He told his parents, and his parents were ticked off. They complained and complained and complained. But for some reason, this small town, this small school, had a lot of connections, so the rule never changed. Curly hair, not allowed. And that is completely messed up. He was 11 years old and he built the best sandcastle of all time. Yes, it's beautiful. It had walls, tower, a drawbridge. There was seaweed that was decorating it. It was pure art. Well, once he finished, he stepped back to admire it. And here comes this menacing teenager. Nice sandcastle, loser. And just kicks the crap out of it. Sandcastle completely destroyed. Yo, what the heck? The teenager left. This kid was upset, but he decided to take action. So he rebuilt, bigger, stronger. And this time, he buried the heaviest, pointiest rock right in the middle of the sandcastle. Covered it perfectly. You wouldn't be able to tell it was there at all. And now this sandcastle looked even better than the first one. It's perfect. But as he suspected, the menacing teenager came by again. Oh, so you're just gonna rebuild it and think I wasn't gonna come back? The teenager pulled his leg back, he's getting ready, and he just kicks it. Remember the rock the kid buried in there? Destroyed this kid's foot. Oops, shouldn't have kicked it, man. The kid limped away, crying to his mom. Some people gotta learn the hard way. Hey, awesome. Here's what happens when you're a frickin' Karen. This lady's about to board a flight. She storms up to the counter and is waving her phone in the agent's face. Hi, yeah, I paid for priority and that better means something good. Well, the desk agent said, ma'am, yes, this is economy plus, so you'll be boarding in group 2. Just a few minutes, okay? Now, boarding hadn't even begun yet, but this lady loses it. I'm pretty sure I paid for a better plane ticket. You know what? I have so many followers. I'm gonna ruin you for this. This airline sucks. That's fine. Okay. I don't care. Just step back. Now, here's the thing. She threatens that she's gonna make a terrible video about the airline to ruin their reputation or to get this person fired, but no one cared. The thing is, that desk agent was actually gonna upgrade somebody to first class because there was one first class seat open. But now, it definitely wasn't gonna be her. Sir. Oh, yeah? What boarding group are you? Now, he's saying this loud enough for the lady to hear. Group 6. Well, it's your lucky day. I'm upgrading you to first class. And ma'am, I'm downgrading you to group 6. Now, this entire time, a bunch of other passengers were watching this thing go down. They were invested, and they cheered. Stop clapping! Screw you! And she threw a fit, and she was thrown out of the airport. Good. This teacher sucks. It's the first day of geometry, the class she's supposed to teach. And the first day, she drops a test onto every single desk. Let's see what you already know. People finish, they hand them in, she grades them, and then she calls up 2 names. You two, stay after. Everybody thinks they're in trouble. but they're not. Those were the two that got the top scores on that test. The next day, the teacher hands those two a packet. The packet has chapters in it, examples, and answer keys. The rest of the class gets nothing. She then tells these two students, since you two got the highest score on the test, you'll be helping me teach this class all semester. And they did. They would follow this packet on what to teach every single day. The next Monday, they would get a new packet. And while these two kids are teaching, she is sitting at her desk playing solitaire on her freaking computer. Eventually, kids start asking hard questions. Hey, so why is it this way in number 12 when it's supposed to be the Pythagorean theorem? Don't look at me, this is your lesson. She would literally never help. Weeks go by. If the two smart kids get sick, it's a movie day. And if the two smart kids are confused about a lesson, so is everybody else. She literally did absolutely nothing. And that was the last year she taught at that school. Good. This mom spent 5 years telling everybody in town that her son was a monster. He cut me off. He hasn't talked to me in years. She would go on Facebook and post these long, crying rants about how family is everything and how she didn't understand why her own flesh and blood would just stop speaking to her. I'm a heartbroken saint of a mother. She was really making herself the victim. I just don't get it. I gave him life, and now he won't even answer a text. I've done nothing but love him. Well, her son eventually caught wind of all of this, and he decided he was done being the villain in this story. He finally posted a comment on one of his mom's crazy posts. He didn't write much. It was a simple question. Hey mom, glad you're doing well. Quick question, where's my Honda? People commented. The truth finally came out. A few years back, her son let her borrow his car because her transmission was out and she needed to get around for a few days. But the day he dropped it off, all right mom, keys are on the ignition. I'm gonna get an Uber back home. You're all set. Thank you, son. Well, that day she didn't drive it to work. She drove it straight to a car dealership. And it wasn't a formal car dealership. It was some random guy. And she sold it to him. Yeah, I'll take it. Here you go. She then used that money to put towards a new car for herself. Why on earth would you do this? I needed something reliable. You're young. You can walk. I can't believe you. But she got mad at him. She said that, oh, quit complaining. You should be happy for me. But obviously, he wasn't. And that's why he never talked to her. Good reason. This elementary school banned Pokemon cards, especially the trading of Pokemon cards. Too distracting, too many arguments, it was a big problem. Teachers started confiscating them at the door. So for the first week, it was pretty quiet. But then one kid one day shows up with stacks of something else, rectangles of construction paper, laminated in clear tape. And each of the construction papers had something random drawn on it. Come here. I made my own trading cards. He made his own trading cards. Thousands of them. So what he did is he created a formula, and then he just repeated that, like cards of a mailbox, a broken pencil, a rock with a smiley face on it. And on the back he would write stuff like trash can, 100 HP, wet sock, ultra rare, milk, super ultra rare, and he called them real world cards. He would sit at home for hours, cutting, measuring, drawing, making sure that only a few packs had the milk or the wet socks. And he would sell these packs at school, $5 each. People laughed at first, but they started taking this seriously when someone pulled a golden fire hydrant. There was only one golden fire hydrant card that existed in these packs. And so students started wondering, what other rare cards were they? And business began booming. It became a bigger problem than the Pokemon cards, and the school tried shutting it down, but this kid kept making them and selling them. And because it was only construction paper, colored pencils, and tape, he could do this anywhere. People started making counterfeits, so he had to figure out how to show that his were legit. It was insane. Eventually, the school found a way to shut this down as well. But for some time, this kid created the biggest trading card game that school had ever seen. Even bigger than Pokemon.
This senior class pulled a crazy prank. One night before school, they sent a few people out to pet stores to buy buckets and buckets of crickets. Oh, we got this. This is gonna be the best prank ever. Then, right before lunch, they poured buckets of crickets into any trash can they could find. Well, that day during lunch, a fight broke out. People were pushing and shoving each other. Hey, wait a minute. A crowd begins to form. And amidst all this chaos, these garbage cans got knocked over. And I guess the crickets that had been sitting in there saw this as an opportunity to go crazy. So now there's this wave, this swarm of crickets just going all over the place, and people are freaking out. It turns into chaos. Nobody knows why there's an army of crickets, and somebody pulls a fire alarm. Within minutes, the school loses complete control. And at the end of the day, pest control was there trying to fix the situation, trying to get rid of all these crickets, and I guess they did their best. Weeks go by, then months, and crickets are still showing up. In classrooms, in lockers. Years later, every so often, you could hear them at night in the ceiling, all because of one senior prank. And honestly, that's legendary.
If you can't eat it, you need to wear it. This kid's parents had this unbelievably weird dinner rule. Every night at dinner, if you refused to eat your food or you got full before your plate was finished, you had to wear your food. I don't want to eat my peas. Put the peas in your hair. Or, I'm too full to eat these mashed potatoes, and rub the mashed potatoes all over your head. Apparently, this kid's parents thought this was teaching him discipline or something. One night, this kid refused to eat his green beans. I don't want to eat them. And I can't eat my spaghetti either, I'm so full. Well, then you better line up each and every one of those green beans in that ugly mullet of yours. And make sure you drape all the noodles over your head as well. You know the rules in my house. So he puts it all on his head. And the thing is, they wouldn't let him shower after this until right before he went to bed. So God forbid they had guests come over. What is he gonna say to him? Sorry, I smell and look weird. My parents made me mush all my food over my body. Oh, that's actually super messed up. It snowed heavily overnight. It's now early morning, and this retired guy is snow blowing his driveway. Milk, milk, milk. He clears his driveway, then he does his neighbors to the left, and then his neighbors to the right. He usually does those just as a neighborly friendly thing because they're also old. He parks the machine, goes inside, and puts on The Sopranos. Hey, gabagool, Tony's gabagool. The doorbell rings. He opens it, and it's a woman from like 5 doors down. She just moved in. Hi, why haven't you done our driveway yet? I'm gonna be late for work. I saw you do these two. When's ours gonna be done? Ma'am, this is not a service. I do a favor for these two because they're old, like me, but I still got my good knees. I'm sorry. You would think she'd be like, oh my gosh, how dumb of me. How dare I assume that you're gonna do our driveway? But no. Well, we're your neighbors too. Can you please snow blow our driveway? He's standing there, appalled. No. Slams the door in her face, goes back to his chair, and presses play to resume The Sopranos. Hey, Tony Soprano. Gabagool. That lady's out of her mind.
It started with a long yellow slip and slide going down the hill at the park. This kid had it set up with a hose and a couple buckets of soapy water. And at the bottom, he had lined up these kiddie pools to help break the fall so he wouldn't get like that grass burn. At first, it was just him and his few friends in this one slip and slide. But when other kids started to gather around wanting to take their turn, he said, okay, everyone chill. $5 gets you 5 runs down the slide. And people paid. By the next week, he had 3 slip and slides side by side. One with a sprinkler arch, one with cool inflatable bumpers, and one had a tunnel attachment that would spray water down as you went through. Each one was fancier than the last. It was basically a water park in the middle of a neighborhood park. Kids were bringing towels, parents were even coming with lawn chairs to get a tan while their kids slip and slided down the hill. One kid really wanted to slide down, but he didn't have any cash. You take Venmo? Sorry dude, cash only. Oh man, okay. You know what? It's real hot today, so just come on. Have fun. That sounds absolutely awesome. You gotta respect the hustle.
এই তো সাবাস তুমি অমনি ডান্স
ও ভাই 1000 আইজুদ্দিন ভাই দেখে দিচ্ছে সালাহুদ্দিন ভাই দেখলে রোগী বাঁচে এবারে তোরা তো দরও তো প্লেয়ার
কই যাবেন
আরে যাবো কে আমি সেরেন না এখানে এই এলাকার সবচেয়ে ভালো ক্লিনিক কোনটা হেন যাব
এটা
হ্যাঁ দ্রুত চলে যাও
এদিকে কথা আছে
জানতো দ্রুত চলে যান হিসাব শেষ তার কাছে যাইস না আচ্ছা এই রজনীগড়া বাটা তুই কত 3600 দিতে
3600 ভাই 3600 নিচে নামবে না
শরীরে শরীর বেকার চোখের জলে ভিজলে বলো
তুমি কাউরে ঠকাও না তোমার জন্য কারো বাপ মরে নাই, গেছে আমার ছোটবেলায়। এই হাসপাতালে আশপাশে ঘুরঘুর করে বড় হইছি।
করছে
মা, আমি সত্যিই জানি না কি হয়েছে, কেন শুলি এমন করছে।
তবু যাচ্ছি বহু দূরে পাশাপাশি।
জি স্যার, ঠিক আছে।
চোবারে সীমাহীন বলা হবে কিসে গল্প।
আমি আমার মেয়েকে খুব ভালো মতো জানি। আমার মেয়ে কোনো ভুল করতে পারে না। যদি কোনো ভুল করে থাকে, নেই আমার হাতে।
উপর হাত রেখে এই জীবনটা কাটিয়ে দেয়া।
তুমি কি কখনো কাউকে বল সবকিছু ঠিকঠাক তো তোমার?
ঠিকঠাক। তোমার?
তবে চলার পথে দুজনের সিদ্ধান্তকেই দুজনে গুরুত্ব দিতে হয়।
মেয়ে তো হয় না। আব্বাও যে আমাদের এভাবে ছেড়ে চলে যাবে।
বোমে মরিচ
খুব ভালো হয়।
বোমে মরিচ দেন। একটা ফুচকাটা হলো কিনা?
একটু নেন না।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, মামা আসুক তারপর শুরু করি।
আমরা সবাই মিলে তোরে মাফ করে দিল। আল্লাহ তাআলা তোর জীবনও মাফ করে।
সুস্থ মানে হ্যাঁ নাচবেন না, কোনো বিবেকবান সুস্থ
কারণ এরকম ব্যবহার করছিল ওই দিন।
পানিটা খাও। আহা বসতে দে, বসেন না। রিক্সার ব্যাটারি ডাউন হয়ে গেছে।
বসেন বসেন। কি
মা, তুমি এসব চিন্তা করো কেন?
এক নাম্বারই দিছি, তোমার আম্মা ভালো হয়ে যাবে। চল।
ধন্যবাদ। একটা মিনিট, আপনি মেডিকেলেরই কিছু একটা ব্যবসা করেন?
তুই জানো না কি করে?
কিছু খাবা না?
আপনার কথা শেষ করেন, তারপর খাবেন। আসতে পারলি না কাম কাজ গুছাইছো কিছু?
না তুমি গুছাইছো?
আমিও তো কিছু গুছাইতে পারিনি।
নতুন ডাইরেক্টর আইছে পর বলে মেডিকেলের অবস্থা ভালো, পাবলিক সব দেই হেনে যায়।